Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BareRose Garage. Another Sunday. A little bit later than I usually on, but I made it anyway. We had a little impromptu little car show pop up in our little town. My town has only got a population of 470 something people. I didn't even know the car show was happening today. But cousin Mike called me, and my dad found out about it, and I ran up there and we fired up Sir Rat, and Dad jumped on the trike, and we went out and spent the first part of the day out at the car show with them. So we just got back and got everything all put back away and come running over here to fire up another live. Excuse me. So other than that, how's everybody been doing this past week? Looks like we got Mr. Lars in the house with LP94. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. And our friendly Kiwi down there. What's going on, Dean Stevenson? Still can't figure out how you guys shift with the other hand. Philip the Third, what's going on, man? Great to see you. One of the interesting things that did happen with Sir Rat as I was coming back home, when I left the shop, it's only little over a mile to the gas station. And when I rolled in, I was about on fumes when I pulled up to get gas in it, just before we pulled it into the car show there up on Main Street in my little tiny little town. Anyway, pulled it in, put a fresh premium 91 octane, that's the highest we can get, in it, and pulled it over, just pulled it up and parked it for the car show. Sat out there for the car show and talking to everybody and having a good old time. Fired it up to come home. I noticed it warmed up a lot faster. I just thought, well, okay, it's only sat here for a few hours. No, I don't know. Maybe it's still a little bit warm. Fired right up and just ran real good. Idled her over to pull out onto the road, and she hopped right up. And I go, okay, because this whole time we've been fighting it a little bit. I can't get it to dial totally in. And I always had it in the back of my mind that it's the 263 geared rear end we got in it. Yeah, she's long-legged, because when we first built that truck, we were going for mileage, and we did. We were able to squeeze 21 miles per gallon out of a big block 460 and a 3-speed C6 transmission. It was a pretty good challenge for us, and we accomplished it. So it's always been in my mind that, yeah, the gears in that rear end are just too tall for what we're doing with it now. But anyway, I pulled it out onto the street, and she lit up. She come right up. And, wow, okay. I'm driving along, and that's, like I said, that's always been in my mind that I haven't been able to get that instant, right off, you hit the throttle and she jumps up. I always thought it was just the gearing in the rear end, but no, geez, that truck is angry today. she flat freaking moves when I hit that throttle. And Dad was behind me on the trike following me. He's, whoa, what are you doing? I come by my place here and I laid into it again. I, trying to figure out what's going on. The truck is happy today. And she flat lit up and just, whoa, she jumped. Anyway, pulled it in, and I kind of got the idea that the gas that I had in it when I was doing all of that, setting the tunnel ram, getting the timing all set, I think the gas went bad. I think I had bad fuel, because now that it's got fresh fuel in it, boy, that truck come alive. Yeah, she down dirty and mean. But anyway, that's my little story of the day. Now, looks like we got JB's Little Shop. Watch out for the lifters, sir. The leaders. Great to see you, JV. And good to see the trash trucks all up and ready to go. Oh, the heck was that? Oh, I got deer walking around out front now. Those little youngins that still got the spots on them. I don't know if you seen my short early this morning while I was having my coffee. Yeah, I got a whole herd of deer that just hang out in my place, and generally they don't come out front until night. But yeah, that little fawn just walked right out front. Anyway, squirrel. Does nothing special. What's going on? Great to see you, man. Eric, what's going on up there in Norway, my friend? I'm kind of watching. I'm sure it's pretty late for you over there. Trying to get an engine to run down here with 90 degrees heat and 90. Oh, good Lord. 90 humidity. Yeah, we set a record today for heat, but well, right now it's only 88. And yeah, our humidity it's about 14%. You and Ollie dashed my hopes, and oh no, I hope not. It's still a good one. Don't let that bother you one bit. There is nothing wrong with a 360. If you want to keep it as a 360, run with it, man. They're actually not that bad. But if you want to, if it needs anything, like if it needs a rotating assembly, that's a good time to make it into a 390 because they're exactly, the block is exactly the same. So don't let that discourage you one bit. You still got one heck of a good foundation right there. And if nothing else, build a 360. You'd be surprised what you can get out of a 360. It's just everybody looks for the 390. They are a little better, but the 360 just got no love. Mr. John Wilburn, what's going on, man? That was cooler than heck to see Blue Grit cross over earlier. I forgot that Blue Grit was the guy that was running the squeeze bottle when we were working on Cement Surfers Barracuda on the first No Name Nationals. I forgot that was him. Great guy, great, really cool channel. In fact, if one of my mods can put up Blue Grit's link to his channel there, if anybody hasn't subscribed to him yet, because he's got his 500 now, let's push him on over to 1,000. He's such a cool guy. Yeah, those deer, they come out and they see me about every morning. I seen this guy somewhere. Yeah, he was out there at the car show too. That was a great time. The front came through today. It's nice out at the moment. Oh, sweet. So your humidity kind of dropped? Boy, I know you guys over there in Tennessee. You guys play with that humidity quite a bit. Gonna stroke it, huh? That's perfect time for that. And those old FE blocks, they'll handle quite a bit. Blue Grit crossed the No Name 500 finish line this morning. That was just too doggone cool. And Barclay is at 435 and hustling. Oh, sweet. So he's just about to get his breakover party. That is so cool. When that inspires the rest of us to see you guys cross over on your goals. That is sweet. Keep pushing, guys. DNS put boost to it. My big beast truck is running a 460. Yeah, like I said, the 360 just, it gets so little love, but that was kind of Ford's workhorse. And I don't know how many 390s are actually 360s. Because you can't tell. There's no casting numbers that'll tell you or anything. It's a little tag that's on the coil bolt where the boss that comes up to hold your coil on. That's where the little tag is that says it's a 360, 390, 428. I don't know how many of those tags got swapped around. Yeah, it's a 390. Yeah, no, it's 360. But it don't matter. You can still get a lot out of them. It's just what you want to do with them. Big Mike, Brother Hoop, what is going on? Great to see you. Yeah, that old baler. Yeah, that twisted that sucker up pretty doggone good. I don't think I could have fixed that one. That thing was twisted up like a pretzel. But it looks like she's up and going good. And I like your fix on that on your hay rake. If anybody hasn't checked that stuff out, go check out Big Mike's farm fixes. It's actually really good stuff to know because you can apply all of that stuff to automotive, and it's good stuff to learn. No, there I go. I get off on a tangent and I lose track in the chat again. I get caught up here. Thanks, John. Yeah, let's get that guy all the way going. And it sounds like Edelbrock wants in here. I shut the door on him, and that just pisses him off. I just popped the drain plug a few minutes ago. Got about 2 gallons of stagnant water out of it. Yeah. That's like that poor little slant 6 I pulled out of that little dart. Oh. And I get so many of them, failed projects. That's what my yard's full of, is failed projects from other people, and I buy them on the cheap side. That's why I tell everybody you can't rebuild an engine with it in the hole, because every one of them was done that way. You get down there, you pull the head off or you pull the intake off, then you come into some money, where it's going to cost you a little bit of money to finish it. So it gets pushed to the back burner, or, I'll get around to it. In the meantime, you got an open engine out there and the sprinkler hits it, the rain hits it, and it's just a recipe for disaster. And you end up with that. Yeah, 2 gallons of stagnant water in the oil pan. Yeah. I was watching the U.S. Nationals qualify when you came on. I put it on pause, but I need to get back to it. Talk to you later. No problem. Good seeing you, Philip. Barclay's he's going to do it. That was so exciting, that first year of racing all you guys to the 500 mark. Oh, I miss that. I need to start another channel, start over again, because that was a whole lot of fun. I seen that. If any of you guys are interested on how to make what was that, a 96? Yeah, 96 Ford Thunderbird. Really cool. Go check out Landon Custom Classics community page. A good friend of ours built that car. It's an all steel car. He took a 56 Ford front end and rear end and grafted that to a 96 Thunderbird. It's it is cooler than all get out. It looks like a concept car from the 50s. And like I said, it's all steel. They make a fiberglass kit to do that, but yeah, that ain't Daryl's style. I may have a bad ball joint. Uh-oh. And those ain't all that fun to do. I hate anything that involves coil springs. Working around coil springs is just, yeah, it makes your toes curl up a little bit. If Barclay and one other channel makes it, we will be on pour for the 500. Graduation of 70%. Sweet. We can get that to 100. And it's doable. It's very, very, very doable. James and James show. That was those guys. They what was it? It was like 2-3 weeks before the event when James and James started, and they blew right through it. I think they had over 1,000 subs by the time the event happened, and they did it in that short little bit of amount of time. And those guys are cool. All you guys are. .360, a short stroke 390 FB. Yep. And if you want to play with boost, well, there you go. You can spin a 360 a little harder than a 390. Take a page out of Niblack. That's their secret to success, is those short stroke little engines, and then just boosting the heck out of them. Exactly, does nothing. And you still got a heck of a good foundation. It was too far gone, though, huh? It sat under an oak tree for around 38 years. Yeah. What year was it? Don't worry, Landon. I'll try to take out some Fords this year. That's a good one, JV. Because, yeah, a Ford with a tunnel ram taught me. I have never, ever had an RTV China rail fail. I've had the factory gaskets fail one time when I tried to prove my dad wrong, and he said never use those factory gaskets on the China rails. He said you always use RTV. And I lived by that and swore by that. And in the instructions for that YN tunnel ram, it tells you to use RTV. And it's the only one I ever had fail. And then thanks to Two Hacks Garage and Jimmy, he's the one that pointed out that on a tunnel ram, because of the length of the aluminum, and that especially that Wyand tunnel ram, where your V for the tunnel comes right down right by the China rail, you got massive amounts of aluminum right there, and it's such a long span that it moves with the heat, and that's exactly what was happening. As soon as that thing would warm up, boop, should pop loose on the way over on the passenger side where it makes this little dip like that in. So Jimmy always used the factory gaskets if you're using like I said, a tunnel ram, or he had it happen on a blower as well, which is the same principle. So, 2X Jeff, thanks for that video, man. You saved me. And yeah, it was shocking because that's the first time I have ever had one of those RTV China rails fail. Leave it to a Ford. Henry Ford. I said it in one of my videos. You play around with Ford and you don't pay attention, and the ghost of Henry Ford will reach up out of the grave, grab a hold of your wallet, and pull about 2 Benjamins out while you're not looking. I've seen it happen. Is that what it was? Close to 450 subs in 17 days. Wow. Yeah, old James and James, they just exploded quick. And they did it right every day. Boom, 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 boom. Just hammering that material out there. '69? Ah, that's a good looking year too. Yeah, that's too bad you lost that one. But like you said, they're a pretty common truck too. So if it was too far gone, then hopefully you can find another one rolling around out there. Lord knows Ford produced millions of them. And it's really changed a little bit, but same basic style they kept all the way till 77, 78. I know, subtle little differences, but yeah, same basic design all the way through. But I do like the grill in the 69 F Series Fords. One funny thing that happened at the car show is I was sitting there by the truck, and this teenage kid come over. Well, I don't know, he might be in his 20s, I don't know. But he come over and he was really looking over the truck and everything. I was talking to him, I talk to everybody. And we got to talking, and he said he had a monster truck. I was like, oh, like everybody, as soon as people say that, I'm thinking, oh, okay, you got a truck with a 6-inch lift, and yeah, 34s on it, maybe 33-inch tires. Yeah, here comes the story again. No, sure enough, he's got 66s on it. Well, it's his dad's truck, and him and his dad were running it. Yeah, talking along with him, and whoa, wait. Some of these stories are matching up. And I'm thinking, oh, we used to have a monster truck too. And all of a sudden, some of the names are starting to match up. And sure enough, his dad is the one that bought our monster truck. Well, it already changed hands about 3 times before his dad got it. But yeah, sure enough, it was our old truck. He was the kid was telling me all about it, and I go, whoa, wait, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I know. Oh, son of a gun. And then his mom come up and she recognized me. But Thumper, our old monster ride truck, they sold it again. So I guess it's back out there. It's still running out there on the circuit somewhere, but now it's painted black. And I can't remember the name of it. She couldn't remember the name exactly what they're calling it now, but it's changed the name again. They got out of it for the same reason that well, I didn't take over the truck and the business. It's you're out on the road, oh, all the time. You don't spend any time at home until the off season, and you usually got 2 months in the winter that you're down, but you're not really down because that's when you bring the truck in and you service it and you get it ready for the next season. It's a uh, it's the life of a long haul trucker who lives in the truck. That's the life of monster trucking. And it's pretty hard to have a family with that. The roof had started coming off the cab from the leaves. Oh Lord, yeah. More rust than dust on it. Yeah. And where you located at does nothing special. I know, but brain farting. Hippie Miller, what's going on? Great to see you, man. Ah, look at there. We got the doc in the house. What's going on, Doc Art? When I went out to jump in the car, I've got the Fairlane parked out and away from the shop, and it sat out there all winter. Doc Art, of all of the stickers that are on there, yours still look brand new. So, what was that? The first No Name Nationals run? Whoever made your stickers did a really good job. All the other ones have sun faded out. Some of them are just totally gone. You can't see anything but the shape of the sticker. I don't know who made yours though, Doc. They still look like they did when I stuck them on there. I need to do a short on that. Yours and full throttle kind of guy. Uh, Whoever made your guys' stickers did a spot on good job. You stayed on that car longer than I did. I got to get that car back in the shop and do something with it. Uh, Stickers by Jesus? Mopar Owl sticker is still on there pretty good. It faded a little, but his did a really okay job as well. Oh Lord. Oh, one of my original ones that I got from GoPrint. Oh man, those things were so horrible. If any of you guys are looking to get a deal on stickers, I highly recommend not using GoPrint because oh, I'm surprised that thing is still on there. Some of them fell off for the first day. uh, but that really, uh, I got one of Big Mike's original stickers on there, and it's just a white circle now. Oh, I should have put that one in the shop. I regret losing your sticker, brother. Yeah, it just faded right out. Sticker Pros is who you used? Yeah, They do a quality job, man. Like I said, I'll do a short, probably in the morning because I'm starting to lose daylight. Those GoPrint stickers were just absolutely horrible. I was embarrassed handing them out. Oh, I told everybody though, here's my sticker, but if you stick it on a job, it sticks on there about as long as I do. Oh, way cool. I noticed you started going through a sticker meal too, and that's who I go through now. But with sticker mule, you really got to pay attention to the size chart. I had it set up that I had some 2 inch and some 3 inch, and then I chickened out and said I don't need that many stickers. I'll just eliminate one. And my dang fool brain said, "Oh, let's eliminate the one that costs a little more." And I ended up with these little itty bitty little things. uh, they're good quality. They're just kind of little. Hmm. I'll give you the window because your sticker's still holding that window together. That was a pretty good challenge. Tavo, what's going on? Great to see you. I think this is my first live I've joined you in. I think so, yeah. You still didn't get those? Oh, wow. I know I sent them out to you. Leave it to Idaho. But heck, you know where I live. If you come down, I'll give you even more of them. I take them to car shows and I pass them out, all the kids and everything, talk to people, just make a whole the whole event thing of it. That's crazy. I know I sent them off to you. I wonder where they went to. Are you in an apartment complex or something? Check the kids' bikes around there, see if they delivered it to the wrong mailbox. I get that every once in a while here. My neighbor will bring over some mail that was supposed to be in my box. But anymore, my mail lady pretty well knows me pretty good. So if she sees the name on it, she knows where it goes now. Doctor Nope. That'd be an interesting series. Doctor Who went pretty far. Maybe Doctor Nope would do something. But other than all of that, I really haven't done much of anything to a vehicle fun wise all week long. Did drop that Chinese small cap distributor down in that big block and fired, and she leveled right out. So that one actually held. I need to do a video on that one. Yeah, that's a good reminder there. And don't listen to me. Just video everything because I'm killing my channel by second guessing like this. Just if I would just take my own advice. And we bought one of those. I think I told this story on previous live, but we bought one of those $150 HEI small cap distributors off of eBay. Like I said, it's only 150 bucks. Comes with the distributor, the coil, the wires, everything. They come out of New Jersey. It's just a parts dealer there. I'm positive they come straight from China. But you pay 150 bucks for a brand new distributor. You kind of expect what you're going to get. You're not getting an MSD. But when we first fired it, it sounded like I had a blower on it. Just stuck it down in there, got her timed in. First fire of the key, boom. It was whoa, whoa, whoa. I couldn't figure out what the heck is going on. I looked at Dad, who was in the cab because he started it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And what are you doing? And looked down, and the throttle linkage wasn't moving. It was just going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then all of a sudden it leveled down, and then it's kind of picked up to start to level off, and then boom, the smell of rotten eggs, and she died. Definite for sure, blew the module that fast. What the heck? So check my wiring, make sure I didn't screw up because I'm not perfect. Wiring's all right, everything, just bad module. Okay, so pulled out the module that it just uses a standard GM style HEI ignition module, but instead of the two prongs it's got 4 prongs on it, but instead of the 2 coming off the side on that one, they come right off the front on all 4. So you can't put a regular GM module on it. So we ordered 3 more modules from them. They're real cheap. So yeah, that's why we ordered 3 more of them, trying to get that dang distributor to work. Stuck it in, dead. All 3 of them, dead. So it was the distributor. Called them up. The company we ordered it from is actually really good. The guy, running I'm sure he's just got a warehouse and just sends this stuff off through eBay. He just resells it through eBay. He doesn't make it, of course. Anyway, he was real good to work with. He had his box out up, send it back to him. Boom. He sent us another one back, but living up here in the hills of Idaho, it takes a long time before it goes all the way back to Jersey and then comes all the way back here. In that amount of time, we pulled out another distributor, put a Petronics in it, Igniter 3, and that's what the truck's running now. And it hasn't skipped a beat since. Well, that new distributor showed back up, and we didn't know what to do with it. And I wanted to check it to make sure it was going to be a good one, not another dead one out of the box. I stuck it in that Lincoln, and boom, she fired. Everything seems to be okay now. Anyway, boy, that's a long old short story. Moral of all that, yeah, you buy cheap parts, you just keep it in your mind that, yeah, it's just cheap parts. It's going to work or it's not going to work. It's going to be one of the two. I'm still roasting a vacuum advance from 2.8 somebody couldn't find. I know I dug through every dadgum one of them. I told you if you want an electronic one, I've got about four of them, but I dug through every single one of them. And sure enough, there every one that I have for a 2.8, it's all the electronic ones. Except for one. And the wife will skin me if I use that one. Because that's the one is supposed to have running in her little Jimmy. And like I said, JV, I got about four or five of them. And there was even two of them under Dad's bench. But sure enough, every single one of them is for EFI. Auto Salvage Outlaws, what's going on, brother? Good to see you again. I can get a distributor with it, but you can't buy the diaphragm. I know. And that's another thing that we ran into uh, with that the 460 and Sir Rat. The distributor I used that we finally put in it to convert over to the Petronics and everything, we ordered a specific, even went right down off the Ford part number, vacuum advance from O'Reilly's, and it was wrong. It's a straight shaft, and it can't be a straight shaft off of it. It's got to come and it bends up and then it bends back out to clear the advance plate. Took that back to them, and they couldn't find it. Everything they'd come up with is a straight arm, which is the newer style, and that don't work. That's more for Duraspark. Went through Nampa, and all they showed was the straight arm one. Finally, had to go through Summit of all places to find the right vacuum advance for that old Ford C8 part number distributor. I know most people don't run a vacuum advance on a tunnel ram because you don't have a whole lot of vacuum. But it sure makes it start a lot nicer. Twisted Mopar, what's going on, man? Great to see you. Yeah, JB's got an early one. And he knows more about the 2.8 than I do. Like I said, JB, we have played with them, but yeah, not much. Mama M sliding right on in there. What's going on? Great to see you. I know there has to be a darn Ford four cylinder out there they still make the diaphragm for. It's just the length on it. Yeah, because that was the same distributor, right? I know it's the same on a Jeep. Ooh, that might be a way to point. Hmm. I'm trying to think if Dad still got that 2.8 in the back. got a 2.8 Jeep. I didn't even think about that one. Of course, that engine's complete. Needs a if I wait another week, he'll probably say, we got to get that thing out of there and just haul it off. But I will check there. That's one that I didn't check for the distributor. It's hiding in the back and behind the shop in an old Ford van. And it's still got the transfer case stuck to the back of it. Along with that, that cologne made. I purposely block out the numbers of that automatic transmission. Because it's the same one that's in my 94 Explorer. Oh, I hate that transmission. Best thing on those old Ford Explorers is you pull that 8.8 out and then you put the rest of the Explorer on a rotisserie so you can spin it upside down and shake it good for loose change. Yes, so it's the diameter on the distributor. That's the issue. All the diaphragms do the same thing. I could go deeper, but it's all the same stuff. Inside the distributor, they're all the same, right? It's just the way that the length, like you said, the length of the diaphragm. The advance arm is bent the right way, or were those straight? Good Lord, it's been on too long. Yeah, that's when there was a lot of cross-pollination going around as the American automakers were really scrambling for the small side. We had lots of big engines, but when it came to the small engines, yeah, we were scrambling, finding whatever we could find. So you get a lot of cross-pollination across all makes and models. They had their little differences though. It all doesn't interchange. And that's when transmission started, really. You'd see this in a Chevy, and you'd see their like the NV 4500 and NV 4600 in a Dodge, or in a Chevy, or in a Ford. It just all depend on the different output shaft or input shaft. And that is one heavy transmission. Oh Lord. Especially with a transfer case hanging off the back of it. Oh. They're straight. So, like any of my other lives, I got the little link posted up there. And you want to join on in, just click the little link, come on in. we'll go for a little while tonight. I don't want to step on Doc Art and or no, not that's Wednesday. Uncle Tony be coming up here pretty soon. Ari, I don't know. He's going to be on. He usually comes on after Uncle Tony. There we go. Dented Dreams Garage. What the heck is going on? Great to see you, man. Some of the conversations I hear are way over my head, so I just listen, sit and listen. That's usually where I'm at. Yeah, so what's anybody else got up for their next up and coming stuff? Like I said, mine's probably going to be on that uh, cheap, ultra cheap uh, Chinese made distributor. But it does have made in the USA spark plug wires. And they're actually the spark plug wires that came in that kit, they feel really good. Yeah, Pontiac. A lot of SUVs, a lot of minivans. When Chrysler blew everybody away with the minivan and everybody started scrambling to make their own versions of it, yeah, you find a lot of those in those. Oh, sweet. I'll have a video on modifying a hood for functional cowl induction. Sweet. But yeah, bringing old Sir Ratsalot home. I think I was fighting bad gas this whole time. I mean, it still ran good. It just didn't have the hot pep that it should have had. It's just kind of a little lazy off the throttle. But boy, coming home, it was like I was driving a brand new truck, and I didn't even touch a wrench. I didn't even touch an adjustment screw on it. It just boom, that sucker came alive today. I'm pretty sure I was the octane I got last time wasn't quite up to par with what it should have been. Or she's just like an old horse, you know, it felt good going home. A horse will always try to run towards the barn, and that's where the truck was headed, back to the barn. So, yeah, they are too. It's a little, uh, it's, what do you say, JB? About the size of a, that's a little bigger than a 50-cent piece. They're real small diameter little guys. No problem, JB. Good seeing you. We'll be here. Yeah, and to find one, like JB was saying, about the only place you can find those is if you buy the whole distributor. And why they don't just sell the vacuum advance off, I don't know. Because that's the most common part to go bad. It's a rubber diaphragm. It dries out, cracks. Marketing. That's what it is, marketing. And those early 2.8s, they only run those for a few years before they went throttle body injection. And yeah, then those ones are different. So yeah, they just they don't sell enough of them, I'll bet you is what it is. And very few people play with them. So yeah, that's probably what it is. Anymore, playing with a 2.8 is almost like playing with a Packard straight 8, which is really weird. Because growing up, boy, I remember those S10s were everywhere. And the ones you could find on the cheap were the ones with the 2.8. Later on, when they started putting the 4.3s in them, that's the ones you look for to do a V8 swap. Not to play with the 4.3. On those, you just pull the 4.3 out and you stick a 350 right down in the hole and bolt it right up to the transmission. I'll leave it to Landon there. Also, the Chevys don't have the girth to take the job done. I love them all. I'm seeing a lot of guys do that now, but they're little on the same price to do a 4.3 as it is to do a 350. So, pennies for ponies. It's kind of hard unless you're fighting for room and those 4.3s are actually pretty good size anyway. I don't know. A good friend of ours is doing the same thing. He's making a desert runner, uh, little Ford Bronco 2, and he's putting a 4.3 Chevy in it. And that's the route he's going. And some of the parts and stuff that he's buying, I'm thinking, good Lord, you could have put a 350 in it and gotten even more out of it. And he's got the room. I don't know why he's doing it that way, other than to be different. And there's that aspect too. And they're so common, uh, especially now that everybody's LS swapping everything. I know a lot of us kind of frown on the LS swaps, but man, I say go out and promote that as much as you possibly can, because boy, you're finding old pushrod engines for ultra cheap now. Well, I know the LS is pushrod too, but you get what I mean. I remember when a clapped out Chevy Vortec, back when the Vortec, when you swap the heads off, pull the heads off of a real Vortec, not a TBI. Good Lord, a lot of people tried to sell TBI heads as Vortex. But the easy way to tell is you count how many intake bolts it's got. If it's missing the center 4, it's a Vortec. Don't pay attention to the valve covers. Anyway, I remember when just a clapped out Vortec was going for $2,500 because that was the hot swap to do. Now that everybody's LS swapping, those you can buy a whole run-in Vortec now for $500 again. So I promote people to do the LS swap. That just means more of the good stuff for for us to play around with carburetors and stuff. Oh, there you go. The old Chevy Love with the Isuzu 4 in it. Landon Custom Classics got an engine and transmission for one of them. I think it's 79. I'm debating between a 5.3 LS 350 or a 4.3. Any would be better than the Boathanger Isuzu 4. I was going to say, Landon's got a good run in the one that I gave him. Engine, transmission, everything. We scrapped out a little Chevy S10 that was, yeah, it came out of Salt Lake and it was beyond rusted out. It was another one of them that we could pick the cab up without undoing any body bolts, any cab bolts at all, just and set it in the bed. In fact, that's what we did. We twisted the lift arms around, put it under what was left of the rockers, and just lifted that cab right up. The floor, what was left of it, just stayed there, and the cab just separated off of it. Front end, everything, what was left of the front fenders, the nose, everything just followed on up with it. Because that truck was just 2 pieces about that far up all the way on that truck. But they are one. I didn't like them then, but I definitely like them now, especially the little step side ones. Those little Chevy Loves, kind of, yeah, they're a good looking little truck. I did a video on it last winter. Yeah, I remember seeing that. It was so rusted, nothing holding it on the frame. Like my brother's Scout, he sits in it and the floor sinks 4 inches. You could see through the side. Yeah, that poor little Scout. Oh, did I miss Tim there? How can I miss Tim? What's going on, Mr. Tim Windsor? Great to see you. Thanks for stopping in, man. Yeah, me and Landon know where there's for some reason, most all of those little Chevy Loves were that powder blue, about that color right there, Dizzy Izzy's t-shirt. But me and Landon know where there's another one that's actually in extremely good shape, and it's got the, oh, what do they call it? It's the fitted camper, the custom camper shell made for the short step side. That is one cool looking little truck with that little camper shell on it and the step side. But the guy's he's still pretty proud of it, and it's sat there with no motor and no transmission for a while. It sits right out by his barn. I want to make a V8 Love. I got sidetracked with getting the 70 Monte Carlo going. Yeah, that was pretty cool when he pulled her up and around. I'd watched that video the other day. When you pulled her out of the backyard, you put plates on it now. That old Monte Carlo brings back some memories. I had a burgundy red one that I traded for a 61. I think it was a 61. I didn't have the little car for long, but it was it was either 60 or 61. Little Ranchero, the little bubble Rancheros. But like I said, I only had it for about week, 2 weeks, and the guy I traded to, his dad showed up and said, you're trading back. So we traded back. There's no problem. His dad's a good friend too. Yeah, all right. That Monte Carlo that I had, it had the 400 in it. It wasn't stock. Somebody had put a 400 in it. But it needed paint. It didn't have much. It might have had a little rust in it. God Lord, I'm trying to think back. This is back when I was in high school. It had a little bit of rust in it, but nothing big at all. Yeah, yeah. I can't remember what was, there was something, the paint was all faded though. Clear coat was coming off of it, but it was all fixable. But that little Ranchero had a beautiful paint job on it. Wimbledon white interior. Had the little 200 log 6 on it in it. But the Ranchero needed a clutch, and Sean didn't want to do the clutch on it. So he traded me for that Monte Carlo. My dad helped me rebuild I think that was the first quadrijet I ever rebuilt. That was my own. Yeah, I think it was in that Monte Carlo. Good Lord. Squirrel memories. I pulled cars sitting for 30 years, and 2 of them came apart when I pulled them out. Around here, the cars generally don't do that, but we're kind of close to Salt Lake City, and if you get anything out of there, yeah, they're bad that way. But they're easy to spot. Like I said, about that far up, all the way around the bottom of the car. Pay real close attention. Especially back in them years, because they'd let you run out onto the salt. So a lot of people would drive out there and camp out and stuff on the salt. And that salt on the salt flats, you got to get that stuff off immediately, or it'll start to rust within a few days. Useful entertainment in Riley's junkyard and petting zoo. Flew from Pennsylvania to Nebraska to help me out get it on the road. Oh, sweet. 400 in my Nova with Broadex heads. Oh, wow. I've only messed with Broadex heads one time. And it wasn't much of a mess with them. They weren't mine. What did I do on that? I remember them. I don't remember. I think Terry had a set of Broadexes. I'm probably mispronouncing that like no. Oh well. Mine's a 402 big block with a turbo 400 when we got it in 2005. Now it's a 454 and 4-speed. Sweet. I never did mind the 402 396. The only thing bad about the 396 is you get them up about $5,000 and they start spitting push rods. Mr. Terry Grover, what is going on? Great to see you. That valve angle, rocker angle on the big block Chevy, yeah, that took a little work. My godfather had a 66 Caprice SS. I think it was, yeah, 66. And it had a 396 in it. That was one hot car. But yeah, he'd go out there and hit her good and hard, and it had a couple dimples in the valve covers. You'd hear it out there, just a roar, and then boom, lose a cylinder. Hey, you knew exactly what it was. I enjoy these live streams by US channels. I learn so much about cars and all the crazy, weird things that we do. That's why I like watching you. What you guys are doing over there with the freaky, weird stuff as well. You guys know the i6 like no tomorrow. And I love what you guys can squeeze out of them things. New Zealand, Australia with the i6. Then you go over into Europe and the UK and that, and what them guys are doing with the little 4-cylinders. Just that is just really cool. You know, the guy only wants $100 for it, and you get an engine stand with it. I don't know why you haven't done it yet. The engine stand is worth that. And you got a turbo 350 right there for it. Then we just got to find something to put a 389 Pontiac into. It'll come to us. It's got a 4-barrel intake on it. That's a plus right there. Yeah, exactly. You spend more than that for a new engine stand anyway. I wish I could get a Hemi 6 for my Dodge Dart just because it'd be different. Yep. Either the Hemi 6 or the Ford 200 or 260. Because in Australia, you guys didn't have that integrated log. Why Ford cast that into the head, I have no clue. The 4.0 Barra, yep. Like I said, you Australians, you guys took the straight 6 to another level. Ah, there you go. We'll put a Pontiac in that Rambler. Yeah, that I don't think that's been done yet. Come on, let's straight axle it. Stick that nose to the sky and let her fly. Let's do it. Come on, Landon, let's do it. You ain't gonna hurt nothing. Gotta hop off and get back to work on this hood. Have a good night, guys. Great seeing you, Dented Dreams, and I look forward to the video on that. Oh, you guys did have the integrated until 75? Oh, okay. We were stuck with that dang thing. unless you went up to the 306. But all the other ones, good night. They kneecapped that engine so bad. That little 206 has got what? 7 main bearings? It's got a bottom end that would probably hold 8-9 grand. But it's got a head that wouldn't let it turn past what, 35, 4,500 RPM. I seen where guys had cut that log off and stick, 6 Makunis on it. But that's just a whole lot of work for, again, penny for ponies, unless you're trying to do something totally different. That's kind of tough. Thunderbird 68, what's going on? Great to see you, man. Thanks for commenting on those. Way on up there in Alberta, you're just above me. Trying to remember that last comment. I think there was something I was supposed to answer back to you. I had a problem with my 460 350 5-speed this morning. Thought it was the fuel pump relay. 150 miles upstate. Oh, Lord. What was going on? I know you know the trick to crawl under it and beat on the bottom of the tank and see if she spins. Yeah, exactly. It's like they built the whole bottom end to actually do something. And then they went, whoa, wait, we got to slow this car down. And they slapped the world's worst head on it. It's made, you could boost them engines very easy. They're little short stroke. Like I said, multiple main bearings. So you get no crank walk in them at RPM. Still crank. And then they put that cast in log, weird blunt shaped intake manifold on it. So even if you boost it, you're not gonna get full potential out of it. That's just the worst head design ever. I had one give to me from a guy that the guy got a Mustang. It was a 66, 67. Just had that straight six rebuilt. It didn't even have the break-in mileage done on it yet. And he yanked it out to put a 351 Cleveland in it because, just the guy that had the car before, it was 100% stock. Beautiful car. But Scott, well, it's a Mustang, so you put the biggest engine you can possibly fit in there. I let him worry about those exhaust manifold gaskets and changing spark plugs. Have fun, buddy. But anyway, he stuck a Cleveland down in it. And a beautiful car. Oh, sounds wonderful. But he gave me that inline six. Yeah, get it out of here. And I scratched my head trying to think of something, anything cool I could do with it. But the only thing I could think of is put a header on it, split the exhaust, run it short, and that rat rod I was building with the aviation thing because those little straight sixes, they sound like an airplane when they come up on RPM. So I used it that way. Turned out to be the key switch on the column. Yeah, so AC cars. Yeah, the truck runs fine to anyone else. I run into that quite a bit, especially in cars when people will hang all that crap off of their keychains. Yep, the column key switch. That key sits in there and it bounces and breaks that key switch out, and it'll do that. It'll shut the car down. Yep. That was big in the 90s. People having all kinds of troubles when they first went to the chipped keys too. Because good Lord, I think every knickknack uh JC Whitney kind of doodad thing with all of those extravagant things you hang on your keychain. Oh, killed so many of those key switches. And some of them ain't that easy to change. I have a 6 feet. Oh, yeah, you're talking to Thunderbird up there. Yeah. Yeah, what that was another one of Ford's brilliant ideas. That stock carburetor that they put on those on the 429, the 460, yeah, 400 CFM. Ah, I hope it runs fine to go back home on Tuesday. You know how to fix it. I have faith in you there, Chris. Yeah, as soon as you said that, yep. Oh, yep. Old McDonald has a car. What's going on, man? A guy told me they have a steel crank in them that worked with them all the time. I took a look for his word. All my 200s ran great, but when went to junkyards to make room for the 302s. Yep. And that's what killed him was that stupid head design. And you could import the ones in from Australia, but whoa. And yeah, pennies for ponies. You yank that sucker out and throw a 302 in it and drive it all day long and have real fun with it for pennies. Two separate 80-mile-per-hour blowouts last night at 3:30. Oh, on duels. Oh, and it's a 460. That's a Ford. They ain't the easiest duels to change. That's another one. Yeah. Don't buy Korean rubber. Thumbs down. Oh, Lord. I feel for you, man. I wish Sir Rats-a-Lot had Chevy running gear under it every time I pull them duals off or have to do anything with the tires. That is one crazy, yeah. On a Chevy, on the duals, they got the ring with the coned inserts for your lug nuts. On a Ford, they have the I'll think of it, the torque washer lug nuts. It's a kind of a cone out flat lug nut that goes on, so it doesn't center itself into the hole. You have to center it and kind of balance it with your knees, and then you get one started because it's got an alignment pin that doesn't help you any. And then you get that one torqued, and then you're fighting both tires at the same time, and they weigh about 100 pounds a piece. And you're fighting that, trying to hold it up, center in the hole. You get it started, and then you run your torques in. Then you got to drive them for about 200 feet and get out and torque them again, because as you drive them, they center. But then you got to retorque them. 4 duels. Yeesh. Look at that. Goosebumps and When we took those tires in, the back tires on Surrat are brand new. We haven't put new front tires on it yet because we haven't done a final alignment on it. So we're just running the old tires that were on the donor truck on the front of it. But we took those into the tire shop, and the guy there, Steve, said, I'll mount and balance them for you, but you got to put them on. I won't put them on. He knew better. Yep. That roll pin, and then it's got another alignment dowel inside of the on the dual on the rim that you have to match up to the hole on the other one. And if you don't, you'll warp the rim. God, oh, yeah, just the thought of doing tires on a dually Ford, it's a good thing I got my blood pressure pill right here. I worked at a tire wholesaler for a couple of years. We sold the Korean brand called YKS. We had 2 trailer loads of 215/85 R16s. I know that size. About 60% of them failed. Whew. You got a ways to go. I'm hoping for you there, Chris. But if anybody can make it home, I got faith in you, brother. And I gotta say it again. I love what you're doing there, and right in the heart of New York City. That is just too daggone cool, man. Good thing we could just call a wrecker whenever we got a flat tire on our dual 450 bucket trucks at work. Oh yeah, and those guys earned their money. Yeah. In fact, I got 2 sets of those wheels that were put on wrong, and they're just total junk. In fact, I don't anymore. We finally did haul them off because they didn't line them up on that secondary dowel that's got to slide into the hole. And then when they torqued them down, and Lord of mercy, when it's not right, because that truck will beat the ever living crap out of you. Get it up about 45 mile an hour, and it's bouncing your head off the back of the cab and the steering wheel. Oh. Tim, 72 Demon, what's going on over there in Colorado? You're up there in the nosebleed seats. I thought I was pretty high up, but no, you got me beat. You got me beat by quite a bit. I don't know how they ended up on this rig. It's an old Navy truck up in Hunter, New York now in the weeds. The melting pot turned into the smelting pan. Yeah, old cousin Mike here. He's Landing Customs. He's actually my cousin, but he's Mr. Thunderbird. I think you're only missing a couple of them. Of course, and then the unatanium little birds. But yeah, who can find them for a decent price? I don't think they exist on a decent price level. Still pretty warm here. Yeah, we set a record today. I think we got up 88, 89 here today. It was pretty warm for being the 1st of September. But getting chilly at night. Poor Tim has to deal with those Venezuelan gangs, but help is on the way. They're all headed to Colorado, huh? The show in Ducano, Colorado, that was my favorite show to do every year. It's in between Denver and Fort Collins at the Colorado National Speedway. Yeah, like I said, you can bring it in the shop anytime you want. If you can push enough stuff out of the way. My shop is a mess. The Hawaiian Stealth. It's almost the same price as a Edelbrock Performer, and the Performer will outperform it. If you can swing it, I would go the Edelbrock way. But both of those, the Hawaiian Stealth and the Edelbrock Performer, flow about as good as what you got. The only advantage you have with that is you'll drop a lot of weight. So weight for horsepower, you might pick up a little, but actual hard hit performance, you won't gain a lot with that Hawaiian Stealth. And I think that's as big as Hawaiian went with the 429. Next step up, though, if you can swing the Edelbrock RPM or the RPM air gap, those you will pick up a bunch on, but the price starts to climb. I don't need no stinking shop. If you're doing it for YouTube, I'll tell you what, you get more views if you're out on the elements. If you're in a nice, cozy shop, it's a little harder to get views. And for me, it gives me an excuse not to clean my shop. You can push one out in the front and do it out front on the asphalt. Yeah, Hawaiian Stealth, a lot of people had issues with. Run a straight edge across them. They're especially there at the latter productions of them. They kind of moved a little during the molding process, so really watch that. You can straighten it back out, but yeah. Hawaiian's quality kind of went down there for quite a while, and now Holly is bottom. And what Holly's going to do with the company, I don't know. Last I heard, they've canceled production on all of the blowers, roots blower stuff, and tunnel rams, which really sucks because I think Wyand was the only one that did 429, 460, 385 series tunnel rams. Hopefully Edelbrock sees that and they jump in and clean up the slack there. Yeah, and unless you're looking to drop weight, they flow about the same as what you got right there. In fact, you might even flow a little better. But you will drop about 50, 60 pounds. No, all big blocks were 650 for Autolite and Motorcraft 4350s. Only the R codes and some Q codes. The Pantera were 715. You can never be maxed out. There's always a little bit more you can squeeze in there somewhere. But up where you're at too, yeah, you want to stay dual plane. You're just a driver as well. You know, you're a street car. I don't know. I'd run with what you got. I would play with the cam, if anything, if you want to get a little more out of it. And you got a good setup right there. A 68. You're running C8 heads. Yeah, play with the camshaft. Put a good shift kit in that old C6 and upgrade the torque converter. You know, look that way. And you'll pick up a lot out of that. That 68 C6 that's in there, she's pretty soft shifting. And the torque converter, that stock 68 torque converter, yeah, she's not pushing like anything modern. So you change those two things right there, and it's simple. Well, it's a little bit on the spendier side, but those two things right there, and you'll think that you did something to that 429 because you'll be pulling all the torque out of it, or a lot more of it out of it. Yep, the C and NJ codes were the Quadrajet. Ford guys don't like to admit that one though, but they actually did run the Quadrajet on those 429s. And I love the Quadrajet on a daily driver runner. Oh yeah, keep your foot out of it and just sip the fuel. And then, well, once it comes over the Quadra bog, and it catches up to them 5-gallon buckets that you just opened as secondaries, that thing comes alive. Yeah, you get into the obscure combinations there. The 302 Boss, yeah. I read an article once, or maybe I seen a doc on it. The reason they named it the Boss is because the Boss gave them the okay to just throw whatever they wanted to throw at that little 302. and the 429. They just kind of give them a blank check and whatever we've got, make it fast. I'm already losing weight elsewhere, so I'm not too worried. Oh, cool. Yeah, there's always places you can squeeze. And like I said, the rear end, starting to tighten up all your parasitic losses. That you'd be surprised how much you can gain from transmission, rear end, playing with those sides of it. The interceptor cam, if I remember right, that's a Cobra Jet grind on them, because Ford actually only made a few stock cams for the 429 460. It's just the way they uh, the combination with everything else that they would use. They would use one of those four cams. Like their Marine division, it's actually a Cobra grind. But I can tell you right now, it's barely enough for a tunnel round. And modern cam profiles and modern grinds that you can do, oh Lord, they can untap a lot out of that. And it's actually not that expensive. My go-to in cams is Howard's. And if you have any questions on that 429 or any big block Ford, go check out Terry Grover. He was just up in here. Go over and sub his channel. Check out all of the awesome, cool stuff he's doing. He can show you all kinds of tricks to get a buttload out of that. Him and Ed's Machine. Those two guys, they know their stuff. And Terry will even show you how to port them sitting on a trash can lid. I love that video series, Terry. 351 carbs on the Boss were stamped D1ZX. I didn't know that. Yeah, the Ford guys I go to, if I get lost, and I get lost a lot, are Ollie's Garage here on YouTube. Ollie is one great guy. And then and he's up in the Pacific Northwest too. He's over in Vancouver, Washington. And then there's, oh, like I said, Terry Grover over in Jersey, in the People's Republic of Jersey. And he's laying some numbers down with all the restrictions in his state. Yeah, go check out the Grover boys. They know what they're doing. And Ed's Machine. Those guys, those three guys right there, they'll show you how to do it and do it upright. Now, of course, you got Andy Wood. I can't forget Andy with Casper. And here's a guy who doesn't say much about him, but he knows a whole bunch about him too. Hey, what's going on, Jason? What good to see you, man. He was racing Windsors back before it was popular, back when you had to make your own stuff because there was no parts catalog to open up. And he was laying down some numbers. Yeah, Terry Grover. And he's got a son, Adam Grover, another channel. Adam show you how to put nitrous on it. Yeah, then you start playing with the fun stuff, the giggle juice. Yeah, I have learned a bunch from everybody on that, especially when it goes into performance stuff. My dad, he worked on lots of them, but we worked mostly daily drivers, so dependability and drivability was always top of our level. You want to figure out how to make them go fast and get the giddy up. Yeah, those guys. Back in the golden age of hot rods. Oh, I love that. It was actually in the 70s and the 80s when we had the great horsepower drought. Yeah, you couldn't go to the dealership and buy a race car. You had to know a little bit. And guys like Jason here were getting it done. I love those years. It's just like everything. It comes and then it goes. And we're coming to the crest now, and it'll go away again for a little while, and then we'll hit another peak, and it'll. My friend Lauren Burgett used to race a 429 in the 80s. Yeah, our performance machine. Well, that's the name of his machine shop. Is Performance Machine. Alden Miller. He races a 429, and he's been racing that little Mustang since, oh Lord, the mid 70s, and he's still out there racing. And he's getting close to 80 years old now, and he's still laying them numbers down. And that's why it took me so daggum long to find a set of dove heads, because Alden got all of them. There for a long time. He was given like $500 for heads. If you brought him a set, a 460, 429 with doves on it, he'd give you $500 for it, even if it had a piston hanging out the side of it. And he just stockpiled them for his race car because he travels around all summer long, all season long drag racing. Uh-oh, you got another fox in there, huh? You're gonna call him out? Uh, well, you won't be racing him in the wheelchair with the nurse pushing you now, so you got a shot there, ASO. Good to hear you're doing better, brother. Yeah, with that, we've been on for about almost 2 hours. Sir, he's still needing a ride. There you go. Hey, nothing else. ASO, you could sit in the passenger seat with Mohawk and then go up against JV in that full-blown 2.8 S10. Oh, there's a good one. A 429 makes more power than a 460. Yes and no. A 429, you can spin them tight. So if you're looking for an RPM build, go with the 429. 460, they're pretty tough to get over. About 5,500 is about as fast as you want to spin one of them. And a internal balanced one. An external balanced one, you don't want to spin them that tight. So it's where you want your power to come in. Unless you go to extremes like Two Hacks Jeff did on his that one. He stroked a 429 clear to 512. But the more stroke you add, the slower you want to turn them safely. So can you make a 429 more power, more horsepower, but not more torque? And you got to be up on them, higher up on the RPM range to get them to beat a 460. But a 460, you got all that torque. So which end of the spectrum you want to be on? Unless you go crazy like little Jeff did. Little Jeff. Ah. I got to pick on little Jeff because me and him, we weigh about the same. And he's got the biggest, baddest Thunderbird, 68 Thunderbird I think I've ever seen. Yeah, I was told it's faster because it has a shorter stroke. The 429, that's the difference between a 429 and a 460. 460's just got more stroke. In fact, that engine was actually slated to go all the way to 521, and they did make a few of them, but don't bother with the stock 521s. They're total truck engines. You find them in F550 box trucks, gas powered box trucks. Every once in a while, U-Haul had a few of them. So if you can find them, there are 521 stock Fords. But again, they're for horsepower, or they're garbage. They're totally restrictive heads, deep dish pistons. They're built for torque, low RPM torque, and they're external balance. So yeah. All still sick. It's crap, but not going to miss it. I get tired quick. Keep swinging there. I like a tall deck 454. Yeah, see you there. Yeah, you find them in big industrial applications like that. But again, for performance and stuff like that, they're not the ones you're looking for. These are not the big blocks you're looking for. Because it costs you too much to bring them up to performance, when you can go out and find an 87 tall deck external balanced 460 anywhere, or a fuel injected one. Either one, don't matter. And then you just buy the stroker kit for them, bounce them to 521. That turns them back into internal balanced, and there you go. Then you can spin them tight. That's why I never really played with a 400 Chevy because they're external balanced. You get them up anything over 6,000, yeah, that crank starts going in there. And that's why a 302 Ford, you see on the, you see all these videos and stuff. Oh, 302, careful of those. They'll split right down the middle. Well, yeah, they're external balanced. And if you spin those things up 9 grand, yeah, that crank's in there going like this. Yeah, they eventually will split. It's not a bad design in the block. It's because they're external balanced. Yep, you're internal. They were internal all the way to 77. The easy way to tell if you're looking, through a junkyard, or you see a bunch of blocks that are already out, just laying on the ground, take your hand and run it on the inside of the harmonic balancer. The external balanced ones on the snout piece, that it's kind of just a slip on that goes onto your crank snout, and then your harmonic balancer goes over that. On the external ones, they'll have like a axe blade counterweight that's on that brain fart that sleeve piece that goes over your crank snout. If you feel that, it's an external and a tall deck. What you got though, you got the short deck. Yeah, 429. That's you got something good right there. I know where another one sits, has the 429 in it. And there's two 429s. There's the late ones, and those are a tall deck. They don't have any compression in them. What, 76 through 80, 81, they run the 429 again. But again, it's a tall deck, deep dish piston. It's not the 429 of the original ones. And I look for all internal balanced big block 460s. I do have one 87 external, but that one's getting the stroker kit. And that's actually what that stroker kit is made for. It's made for the later ones. Yeah, you got to do some work to make them work on a medium deck or a short deck. I harvested a 454 out of a motorhome last year. I want to build for that yellow Camaro. Oh, sweet. Yeah. 454 though. Yeah. You get to play with the cheap stuff. I wish I could buy an intake for the same price. Oh, makes me feel sorry for the poor Mopar guys. Whew. That's how pricing goes. Chevy, very affordable. Ford, you easy tack on another $100 bill. Mopar, second mortgage. And Pontiac and Oldsmobile and Buick and Cadillac guys, yeah, they play with Mopar in that aspect. Whew, that stuff is expensive unless you leave it stock. Yeah, 302. If you're not going to spin them to the moon, you'll never ever split one down the middle. And honestly, the 302 Ford, it's one of my favorite engines of all times because that little bitty thing will fit in anything. Heck, they even put them on motorcycles. The Boss Hog, I think that company was. No problem, man. Oh, there's a good one. Hello, Octa. God, thanks for coming on in. What's the most I would bore a 429? I have a universal answer for that for all of them. As little as possible. I never, ever, ever bore an engine for horsepower. For me, the only reason you ever bore an engine is to take either the ice cream cone out of it. You know, if your pistons or your cylinders are shaped like this, you just bore them to straighten them back out. If you got a little lip on them, you just bore them to clean them up. Whatever it takes, the minimum amount that it takes to bore them. That's how much you bore them. If you're looking for horsepower, look in other places. Don't go maxing out your bore, because that's there. So when it wears out, you can bore it a little more. But if you jump right in and take it and bore it to the max, you got a short deck 429 that'll give you years and years and decades of good times and good fun, as long as you don't bore it to the max. Take it to the max, and then when you wear it out, it's done. And you don't find them. But that's my rule of thumb on any of them, whether it's a small block Chevy, any of them. I only bore to clean up the cylinders to make it ready for the next run. $30, $40, you can go clear to 60. But yeah, like I said, every step up you go is a little less life you have left on that block. So if it's already 30 and you can take it to 40, take that scar out. Yeah, you're perfectly fine, because you got basically one more step after that before the block is, you'll have to start sleeving them, and that gets expensive. Years ago, popping a sleeve in wasn't too bad, but yeah, it's getting a little spendy. Yeah, your biggest gains are there, and you've got damn good heads, so you'll be fine. Play around with different camshaft grinds. Every Wednesday night on the AHRA, if one of my mods could find it, it's Wednesday Tech Talk with Dallas and Professor P. If you have any cam questions, camshaft grinds and all, I know that's the numbers on that are confusing as heck to anybody who is just getting into this. But there's a guy on there, Professor P. His channel is Slant Six Daily. Get a hold of him and tell him exactly what you're looking for, and what kind of power you're trying to get within the parameters of everything that you've got going. Professor P can point you in a perfect direction on that, because he's actually a designer for Edelbrock. And he's one heck of a great guy. So if you're looking, like I said, you look through a Summit catalog and you're looking through all of those different cam numbers and you don't know exactly what lobe separation angle you're going to need for this amount of lift or how much lift I can do, Professor P can nail it right down for you for exactly what it is you're looking to get. Can't recommend him enough. And like I said, he does a live with Dallas Brown every Wednesday night. Look for that. He'll answer all the questions right there live for you. He's a great guy. So is Dallas. He set me in the right direction on the cam for Sir Rat. There it is. Thanks, Mom. Every Wednesday night right there. And it's the AHRA. Buff, what's going on? Great to see you, man. Yeah, it's great live. Like I said, any kind of technical questions you might have, oh, those guys are spot on. And Dallas is a Ford guy, so he races a Thunderbird, a little newer than yours. And Dallas Brown is also the owner, president, CEO of the American Hot Rod Association. And there's Professor P right there. Another great guy. How much does it cost to re-sleeve? I heard a long time ago is that was the general back in the day, but it's up from there. And it's hard to quote prices because here in Idaho, wages are pretty low, but it still costs a bit. And it depends on the machine shop. And if you're not sure about a machine shop and you got a few of them to choose from, I recommend not choosing the cheapest one. But the best way to find a good machine shop is to go out to car shows, go out to the racetrack, and talk to people. And they, not necessarily will they tell you the best one, but I guarantee you'll find out who the worst one is. Everybody there will tell you who not to go to. 45? Oh, yeah, plenty. Well, with what you're running, plenty. And if it's not feeding enough, just up your size on your fuel line. That's where a lot of people screw up. They play with the pressure. They look for more pressure. Don't look for more pressure. Go from a 5/16 line to a 3/8. If you're still not getting enough fuel, go from a 3/8 up to just increase the diameter of the line all the way back and you'll pick up more that way. Just increasing the volume. That's what you're looking for is volume, not pressure. And if you run an Edelbrock carburetor, before you leave the parts house, you reach over and you grab a pressure regulator and a pressure gauge and just plan on installing them together. In fact, I like running a pressure regulator even with a manual fuel pump. Especially on an Edelbrock, because Edelbrocks are really pressure sensitive. And that pressure regulator is not there to regulate so much the pressure. All it does is it takes the mechanical pulse out of it from your mechanical pump, because your mechanical pump is like a plenishing hammer. So all your pressure regulator is on there for is just stop this from happening with your fuel, and it just makes it nice and even. I've done that with all of our Edelbrocks, and we've never had a problem with them. Until they sit all year, and you load one on the trailer and take it all the way to the salt flats and unload it, and a little bit of dried ethanol chalk falls down and makes it run like a little crap for a bit. Then you got to pull the idle mixture screws out and stick a little Berryman carburetor cleaner in there, squirt it out, and put the screw back in, reset it, and then it'll pick up, blow that little chunk of ethanol chalk out. I won't tell you how I know that one. We have a good machine shop here, but circle track guys go to the front of the line. Ridiculous wait times. We've actually got one here that he does big name stuff, and he is very good. He mostly just does heads. The shop is called Thunder Machine. He does heads for Dennis Anderson, Gravedigger. He's had heads in for John Force. But yeah, those are high dollar clients, and he's got a long list of head work that he does for all these people. You kind of get down to the bottom of the line. He's a great guy. He's been a friend of the family for, good Lord, long as I can ever remember. But even us, it could take a year or two before you get your heads from him because he's so backed up with that hardcore clientele. In fact, he doesn't even take anything off the street. And he races a 61 Falcon with a 429. Yeah. Tunnel rammed 429. And boy, that thing it's a gasser type style though. Straight axle. I'm down with ECCC. My current Holly 110 gallon per minute is acting up, and they're way too expensive by parts for. That's the red rotary. We run a lot of those Carters on all of our stuff. They're loud, but they work good. The rotary style. We don't run any clickers. We have Bowman Gray Stadium here, big money stuff. Yeah. Amen. First Responder Garage. What's going on, brother? This is another guy that knows his stuff, too. And Envious. I hope I didn't miss you as you came in there. Great to see you, my friend. But yeah, with that, we've been on for about 2.5 hours there. I think we'll go ahead and wrap her up for this week. Oh, Lord, excuse me. I think Uncle Tony's going live now. Like I said, and Ari goes on shortly after him, as long as he's back in town. I know Ari's been away working with his new job for quite a little bit. He's been a busy guy. But any of those lives that are going after this, and I think Buff, are you still in here? if you guys want to promo your live that's coming up, I think you guys are going live again tonight. Buff and Kim, they go on live pretty much every night here, and they got some pretty cool stuff. They're actually in the shop working. I'm in here in the office. I'm not working. Oh, okay, cool. Buff and Kim are going to take on Ari's because Ari's probably still stuck in Arizona on his job, just basking in the sun. So, yeah, everybody try to check out Buff's live. It's going to be coming on probably about 8 o'clock or so. I'm bad with that. I should have looked it up so I could hit the fast little drop in. Oh, Ari's home now. Sweet. He's a heck of a great guy. Anyway, with that, well, I think we'll call it good for this week. Thanks everybody for stopping in. Go check out all these other lives that are going on and throw the support around. You see anybody in the chat that you haven't checked out, go ahead and just click on them and go check out the channel, see what they got. Some of these guys have got some really cool stuff because everybody in here knows how to get out there and get that metal hot. Even if they're getting no more hot than I am. It is my slogan. We'll catch y'all next week. Thanks for coming in.